Kelvin Beachum, offensive tackle for the Steelers. Kelvin, thanks for taking the time. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Anytime. I just got to practice field.
We appreciate your dedication to Sports Talk Radio. So let's start with that final play on Monday night because you play left tackle and Le'Veon Bell ran that way. What were you thinking in the huddle when you heard the play call, and what does that tell you about the aggressive approach that Mike Tomlin and the coaching staff take?
You know, when they set that play in, it was one of those things. It's one play. We got one play to do it. We do it here, we win the game. It's win or go home. You always hear that in the playoffs with NBA teams, and they have a whole game to do it. Well, we have one play to do it. It was win or go home for us. I mean, to go home on a 5-hour trip, and we were on the 1-yard line, 5 seconds to go. It was no better way to win the game than to win the game that way. And after the game, I was just telling Coach Haley and Coach Tomlin, just thanks for trusting the O-line to find a way to get the job done.
Kevin, you guys are facing the Arizona Cardinals, who forced 6 turnovers against the Detroit Lions in last week's game. And I know Michael Vick is still learning the offense. What has Todd Haley told you guys? What are you guys going to do different this week and working on ball security?
I think it's doing the things that we know to do, controlling what we can control. Sometimes the ball takes bounces and things, during the game. But, from our standpoint, we just got to find a way to take care of the ball. When we got somebody toting the ball, we got to find a way to make sure that they're carrying our hopes and dreams, along with them. Being smart with the ball security. And then for us as offensive linemen, just making sure we're sticking with our guys and holding blocks as long as we can. And then making sure we're covering downfield. So if anything does happen, we're right there to pick up the ball. So it's just one of those things. We're just harping on it, just being more detailed. We know that they're a great defense, very ball aware. But we as an offense, we got to find a way to take care of the ball. And I think Coach Tomlin has done a great job just making sure that that everybody is very ball aware and then knowing that the Cardinals are a ball hawking type of team.
Chatting with Kelvin Beachum, offensive tackle for the Steelers. All right, Kelvin, help me make some headlines here. It was reported Ben Roethlisberger looked good in a 7-on-7 drill yesterday. He's a tough guy. Did he practice today? And do you think he has a chance to start on Sunday?
Man, you have to talk to Coach Tomlin about that. That's my pay grade. But, he's been out of practice. He's been around. I know he's a competitor. I know he's trying to get back to us as fast as he can. I know that the trainers and the staff are doing everything that they can to get him back, and he's doing everything that he can to get back. But, I know it's day-to-day, and I can't speak for him, but, when he's out there, he's doing what he can and what he's, allowing himself to do. It's great to have him here, but we know, when he's back to us, he'll be back to us. And while he's away, we got to support Michael Vick. We got to be there to help him up and make sure we're protecting him and just making it as comfortable as we can for Mike.
Kevin, you guys have a lot of young faces on that defensive side of the ball. And Keith Butler, they struggled in that first game. But what has been the most pleasant surprise for you as about these group of guys and how they try to attack the game and get after the quarterback?
I think they're just coming together. They're working hard. They're finding ways to keep things simple and play fast. We have a chance to compete with them, at least once or twice in practice every practice we have, and it's getting more competitive each and every week. So that's very encouraging that we're taking the competitive times in practice very seriously because, those things are showing up in the game. This past game, they allowed the touchdown the first drive, but after that, man, they were very, very strict with allowing yards down the field and allowing points. So, they're coming along just fine. It's a great feeling when, the Steelers are blitzing and sacking the quarterback and hitting the quarterback. That's a great feeling for our offensive line because, we get to sit on the sideline and watch them do it. And when we get in the game, all we need to do is score, and we know they'll find a way to prevent the other team from scoring.
Kelvin Beachum of the Steelers is our guest here on NBC Sports Radio. You're listed at 6'3". That's tall in the real world, but makes you undersized among starting tackles around the league. How important, then, has film study and prep work been to overcome the fact that you're not 6'7", 6'8"?
It's very important. But, it's a number of things that play into, my game and how I continue to evolve. I've had a chance to spend a great deal of time out in Arizona with Charles Bentley out there in his O-Line Performance Academy. And, continue to get stronger, which is one of the things that, I know is something that's somewhat of a knock on my game. So, just finding ways to build on the strengths that I've had and find a way to minimize the weaknesses. And, as it pertains to film study, that's big for me. Because if you know where a defender is trying to go, if you know what the defense is trying to do and what your opponent is trying to do, you can build a plan around it and find a way to put yourself in a good position to be successful. And that's part of my game.
Now, Kevin, Antonio Brown mentioned something about Michael Vick and having the ability to just kind of throw the ball out there so he can run under it. What are you guys doing offensively to help build on that chemistry to make sure that Michael Vick can get the ball down the field in the vertical passing game on a consistent basis?
I know just for us as offensive linemen, we got to do a better job protecting. That's where it starts at. I can't speak for the chemistry aspect of it, but I know they're working on it. It's a left-handed quarterback. He didn't have training camp to be here. He came to us kind of late. There are a lot of kinks that are still being worked out, and I know they're doing everything that they can. But from an offensive line perspective, we just got to do a better job of protecting and holding our blocks longer. And when we're able to do that, he can go down the yard. So I think it's a combination of things. But it's as far as the scheme, the coaches and things of that nature, they're putting a plan together to find a way to get him the ball when he needs to get it.
You mentioned Mike Tomlin, so let's wrap it up with your head coach. We love to see him on the sidelines because of the intensity, but what's it like when you miss a block in practice and suddenly you got to deal with that death stare?
I try to make it very rare that I miss lots of practice. But, man, what I love about this coach and what I love about Coach Tomlin, he keeps it black and white. He keeps it real. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. He doesn't allow anybody to seek comfort. He's always finding a way to find solutions. Those are the things that he's all about, and he holds everybody accountable. And when you're able to do that, you're not trying to miss blocks in practice. You're not trying to make mistakes in practice because, sometimes things that you do in practice may carry over into the game. So, we take practice very seriously around here and try to make sure that, we find two things before we even get out to the practice field so we don't get that death stare from him.
Kelvin, we really appreciate you taking the time, especially right after practice. Thanks so much for joining us, and good luck against Arizona on Sunday.
Yes, sir, anytime.
Kelvin Beachum calling me sir. He heard that rant. I'm old. I'm 45. I like polite people. It is interesting, though, doing the research and you're looking through the particulars. 6'3" makes him the most undersized in terms of height starting tackle in the league.
But see, Brian, that's a big misconception for me. Some scouts, they look at, those measurables. You have to fit into this mold. But, Kelvin is showing that, no, as long as you have that attitude, and it appears as though he has that Steeler type of attitude, that throwback attitude, we're going to grind it out. We're going to be really physical in the run game. And, that's the type of things that cannot be measured. That won't show up on a stat sheet. You can't measure, and I've always said this, you can't measure a guy's heart in that particular way. So this is going to be a great game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Arizona Cardinals.
Got 30 seconds, as you know. Need the quick answer here. What's your gut tell you about Roethlisberger already going through the comeback effort? I think he's going to do everything he can to be on the field on Sunday.
He's going to do everything he can to be on the game on Sunday, but I think Mike Tomlin and that franchise realizes that, listen, this franchise moves with Ben Roethlisberger, and they're not going to put him in jeopardy. If they're going to go through warm-ups, if he can't go, they're not going to put him in a situation with a hungry Arizona defense looking for turnovers.
If you are hanging on the line, we'll get back to baseball in about 20 minutes. 855-32